Okie dokie. Got bedhead. Oh, let's see here. It's I almost did this yesterday because I was so excited, but anyway, I went to court yesterday and they withdrew. Of course they did. Tell you a story. Uh-huh. And I'm having a fun 56. I have one wisdom tooth left, and it decided this week to come out like crazily. The demon tooth from hell, and I'm not going to show it to you, but you can see it. It's like sticking out sideways, and it just like erupted in one day. No fun. Doesn't really hurt. It's just making my mouth water and making it feel like I can't chew anything because my back teeth are like rubbing together because this molar's coming out. Anyway, it's like being a little kid. It's hilarious. Anyway, all right. So, see, legal form. There's my thumbprint. If you feel this, you'll feel that there is no raised seal, but on the one I gave to the court, it had a raised seal. Let's see here. I gave them this and this because here's my chicken scratch, because from 0 to 6, I went to a public school and they didn't bother to teach a slave how to write. And then here is the actual document. Now, the way you, or not actual document, the written document so that they can read the chicken scratch, which also has mine, right? Okay. Now, and you'll notice that there's an autograph on this, not a signature. All right. Then you take your thing and, all right, so just like in the old days, from the bottom, you roll it up. And then, oh, look what's on the bottom. Oh, look, it's right? There's a stamp, right? So when I handed it to the bailiff, he better not fucking interfere with the mail, right? Because that's my capacity as a postmaster. All right. And then look, I have the one I had was enough ribbon so I could go around it 3 times. And then, not that that matters. Does it matter? Fuck no, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so 3 times. I assure you that when I handed this to the bailiff, he was, would my son say, he had a look of terror on his face. When he started trying to big buddy me, it was hilarious. And it was a male bailiff this time. There's always female bailiffs. I've never seen a male bailiff before down there. But anyway, there it is. All right. Please hand this to the judge. Okay. He's like, what's this? They wouldn't even let me in the courtroom. They don't want to see me. They don't want to see me anymore. Like I said, I'm getting greenlisted, and now they don't want to deal with you. It's not they shoot you. It's not right. You put your paperwork in, and slowly but surely, they don't want to deal with you. Word gets around. They know each other, and they talk to each other. They don't want to get sued. They don't want to get dragged into small claims court. They don't want to have you, right? And just okay. Here's the other thing on this. If you know how to do a bond lookup, just type in bond lookup to your stupid search engine. Even Google will show you that. And put in the case number. And then put in the case number and when they started it. This case started last October and was finally died, right? 13 months later. Okay, so the case number, and it was 1019 is the info I put in. And boom, the bond comes back. And just go look, Series EE bonds, $10,000 denominations. All right, maximum penalty for this would have been $100 for the first offense, and I think up to $1,000. Okay, they wrote $5,000 of 10,000 Series EE bonds. That sounds like fraud to me. So just on that, I will have them, right? Because I'm not going to be the Carl then. So we'll just let it go. No. Anyway, but all right. So what did I say? And this is not a case about mass. This is a case about them trying to put a petition in for compulsory education for my oldest boy. Let's see here. And see, I just put my name in all lowercase because why? Because capitis diminutis maximum, or whatever that is, maximum. Basically, where do you see all caps names in all capital letters? Yeah, in graveyards. That's where you see it. Is a man. And that's my first one. It's in my briefcase over there. Never mind. But the IRS has come back and they wrote my name correctly. I was amazed. And what? I don't have any pens around here. No, they're buried this way. Let's see here. You should see this house. Total wreck. I have to go clean it. Let's see here. So they wrote, we'll just do it this way. Look. That. To me, like that. My first name, my first and middle name hyphenated, and my last name. Now, if I would have put this, we would have been all happy. Oops. There we go. But even the IRS is starting to figure this out. And the guys at the IRS, they really are. They adapt and so forth. But anyway. Okay, so this is all in lowercase, by the way. Man. No question who I is now. And again, lowercase. Oh, let's see here. I have name, right? And see, it's not name. That's who you are. They've got you confused with your name, and they think, okay, all right, let's make this super easy. I'm gonna make it even easier. I'd read this whole thing to you. I should make it someplace, but I mean, basically, I just told them, look, you can't administer my estate without my consent. And when you get down to it, this is way too long as it is. Look, too many lines. Should have just been 1 or 2 lines. Carl would be upset with me for having this many lines. But please provide an injured party, right? Simple as that. Please provide a competent witness. Got to have an injured party and a competent witness to make a case go through. And the last thing, and I wrote this in red in the original. This was in purple ink, by the way. And this last line over here was written in red, which is why it doesn't come out that well. But the last line is fees for all appearances, $1 a second. See? Require signed orders. I require signed orders for all future appearances. I'm happy to carry out any orders and reason. And by the way, I didn't say I always used the name, right, that I had. And all lowercase, that's the man. So when I do this, you know it's the man. But anyway, that's the IRS. And when I wrote it to them, I put my name like this. Oops. Like this. All right. So every time you're hearing me say I, actually I'm saying that in lowercase. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, all right. So what I was going to say is this is the deal. That is a dead thing, right? Your ID is a dead thing. That passport is a dead thing. The corporation is a dead thing. You speak for the dead thing, right? Only you can verify. You go to a hearing, not a reading. The corporation can't speak. So they have to have agents or officers. You're the agent. You're the authorized representative. And I found a passbook from when I was like in my very first passbook ever. Geez. So you can see the name that I use in business. And the name that I used in business was this. That's how they have it written. All right. That's a name. That's a dead thing. That's a dead man's chest. That's a dead account. You, when you write your name, you're the authorized representative. You can move money in and out of this account. And we call it money. It's not. It's currency. It's actually, uh-oh. I don't know what I did with all my voluminous notes. But, and then he finds it immediately. FRNs are licensed voucher transfer instruments of debt. You're just transferring debt from one person to another. They pay us. And notice I use person. Okay, a person is a dead thing. You speak for the person. You are authorized to get your check out, grab one of these things, and look at that line. You are authorized to represent that dead thing. The dead thing can't do anything. They think they can do stuff too. So yeah. So I put in here one of the lines. And see, I'm going to have to send this to a similar letter. I'm going to rewrite it just slightly differently for several different people. And see, at the end I put take care, which means something to them. And they'll know when you put anyway, especially when you hand them a scroll. Let's see here. Let any man or woman or person who claims authority or jurisdiction to administer my estate, trust, absent my consent, come forward and verify that claim upon swearing an oath of affirmation, or upon swearing of oath or affirmation to tell the whole truth. Yeah, right. You know the thing. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. let any man or woman or person come forth in open court who has a claim for injury or damage or breach contract, right? If I stepped off my square, let me know, right? And remember I told you, and I almost put lost, but fewer words, right? Just fewer words. I didn't. Well, did I mention disturbing the peace? No, I was over here in harm, right? Damage, right? But also there's loss. That would be the same thing. And then, right? No mischief in this contract. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Please produce a competent witness. I have the right to face any accuser. Please provide any verified contract or any verified claim. All right. I'll make good on any verified claim or contract with my mark, signature, or autograph. Let's see here. I'm authorized to represent my 4 names that I have in business, right? The 4 different ways. I've done this in other videos where you can see they do it in all caps. They do it with the middle name. They do it with the middle name abbreviated. They do it, right? Okay. I'm not authorized to represent first and last because there are too many guys that have my name, right? Have that same name. So I'm not authorized to represent that. And they're certainly, and they had me down as like John Adams Sr. No. Anyway, let's see. So in this case, it would be John Quincy in lowercase revokes power of attorney from state of Hawaii. And you'll see it there in all caps, right? Just the same way they write it. State of Hawaii, no hyphens, not the state of Hawaii, just state of Hawaii, the corporation. Anyway, so I just revoke power of attorney from state of Hawaii. All its agents and employees. Revokes any and all contracts with state of Hawaii. Rescinds all marks, signatures, autographs made in that court. Right? Because they got me to sign a thing to say I would come back. And then after that, I just said, look, after this, I need orders to come back. They won't order you. Listen to Carl Lentz. They can't order you. Right? And then just, they'll always make it sound like it's an order. But then just ask them, is that an order? They can't order you on. They know you're a man. And so, oh, we're practicing social distancing. What I should have said, is that an order? And then you should back it. They wouldn't even let me in the courtroom. They wouldn't let me down the hall to get to the courtroom. So I handed this to the bailiff. Actually, I handed this to the district attorney. Assistant deputy district attorney, or whatever the fuck title he had from the attorney general's office. Yeah, there you go. Assistant attorney general. There you go. And I handed it to him. The bailiff took it from his hands and said, I'm the bailiff. If anything is going to get in front of the judge, I'll show it to him. And I said, and he did. He looked panicked. What is this? I said, you can open it because the point's moot. You guys withdrew, but I would like you to hand that to the judge. And he goes like, eh. And I'm like, and he should know too, because if he doesn't, and see, now he's interfering with the mail because I was acting in my capacity as a postmaster, right? You have infinite capacities. Okay. And they hate it. They don't want you practicing any of this. They don't want you telling them that you're a man. They don't want you telling them that, because see, they're dead things too. The corporation, the state of Hawaii, that's a dead thing. So they need people to speak for that dead thing. It's not a living thing. County of Maui, not a living thing. State of Hawaii, not a living thing. Judiciary for the state of Hawaii, not a living thing. Maui Family Court, Second Circuit, not a living thing. They need people to speak for them. That makes sense? All right, same thing with you. This is not a living thing. It's a dead thing. You are the thing that's able to speak for it. Okay, you are the thing that votes for proxy. And see, I was going to put all the stuff about suffrage. Wrong court, wrong place to put it, right? So when I write to other people, I'm going to say, but in here, I just put, I reserve all rights, right? Just, I reserve all rights. I appear specially, not generally, to resolve this matter, right? That's something you should say in court and understand that a special appearance, right? And then down here, I said, hey, look, in the future, you want me to appear specially? There's a fee for that. I've been a dumbass, right? And I never told you, but now you know, right? $1 a second. Okay, and you need to write me an order. They won't, right? So see, that's the thing. Call their bluff, ask for them, stand up, and they run away. They're demons, they're cowards, right? These are people that rape children. Oh, well, maybe not these guys, but in general, the court system is not what you think it is. Criminal justice system. You might take a look at those words, give that a second glance. Anyway, and then there's no question that this is the living thing, because right, that was given by my hand. This is given by my own hand, right? And if you look at it, the only person that can read this is me. So I gave them a translation. Maybe they could read that. I can read it. But anyway, it's handwritten. Like I said, this is all in purple, except for one line, which was in red. I'll see it all in capital letters. Those are all the, like, see, I signed on this side, not this side, right? Here's all the debtors over here. Here's the living person. And the green tells you that the master had shown up. Now, I could have gone crazy and told them that I wanted to do a court and so forth. No, I'm not going to. I don't have the experience. Pretty sure I'd get eaten up. And I need to go do a little more study before I start getting crazy like that. But I almost guarantee you they're not inviting me back to court ever again, ever on this island. Because I know about their bonding. I know about their scam, right? And if they would have let me into court, I would have told every person in that courtroom, you better go get your private insurance and make sure you max it out, because people are coming for you. Not just me. Lots of people are coming for you. And then in the elevator down, just had a very interesting conversation with a lady that had a little tiff with the prosecutor, the chief prosecutor, and they're going to get him removed. We traded information. She was all excited. I was all excited. Everybody's all excited because she won. And then the courts were having a bad day yesterday. Simple as that. Thanks. But they were, because I was standing outside waiting for them to call us, because we got there like 15 minutes early. See, and that's the thing. The time they told us to come was later than when they handled the business, right? Because what happened is the baby mama, she put in a certain form and they had to withdraw, right? And she had been fucking with us for over a year. But I know they leaned on her to put this form in because they didn't want to deal with me. But still, okay, back in the day, way back when, small kid time, I was like 15 years old. I had my other friend, my friend Patrick Karras. He had not a friend, and his friend was Howley, and the guy was going to get beat up. So I was a YA boy, and my friend Patrick Karras and I were very close. And he said, "What, you going to? These guys want to beat my friend up. Call a couple boys so we can go brawl them." This is 15-year-old boys being 15-year-old boys back in the day. Alpha males with testosterone, not these fucking soy boys that suck. Anyway, so I don't know this guy, right? I don't call my friends. I don't know this guy. So anyway, he introduced him to me. We cruised around a little bit, and I was like, all right, fine. So I called a bunch of friends. I can name names, but we'll skip it. Anyway, local boys. And one of them had a van because his dad had this cool van. And then we drove around, and it was a Friday night. Skate Palace days. Back in the day, we had a skating ring. It was hilarious. Many of the generation next is after us were conceived because of that Skate Palace. Anyway, but see, you got to have a place to get together. The people have to be able to get together. Now they do it all online with phones and apps and stuff. But back in our day, you actually used to get to see, is that girl clumsy? Is that girl graceful? Does she have a nice ass? You can tell from, in person, not from some fucking app where they get to use all kinds of stuff. Anyway, you used to actually see them. Anyway, so went around, picked up a bunch of boys, and we were ready because we were gonna go fight. We were gonna go fight these guys because what they'd done, the guy that they were gonna beat up had a really nice car, and he was Howley, so everybody wanted to beat him up, right? So anyway, we showed up at the assigned at the place and time, and the other guys ran away because they saw me and my friends, and it wasn't me, I guarantee. It was like I was the Chihuahua with the big dogs behind me, right? But not quite, but close to that. But I mean, some big boys, right? Some big way boys. Well, I don't know how many do I have. I had like 5 of them, and those guys had like 10 or 15 guys, right? And so with those, us 5 and the other 2, that would have been 7. We were outnumbered 2-1. They still ran away. That's called Maui High odds. We used to call that Maui High odds. Anyway, that's the feeling I had in court yesterday, right? Because we were there. I was so fucking ready, and they just withdrew, right? They're not stupid. These guys aren't stupid. When faced with certain defeat, they're not gonna, right? They just don't fight. That's what you do, right? And what you guys want to do is fight when you get into a position where you're going to be certain defeat. So no, don't do that. You got to Sun Tzu them. You got to Tai Chi them. Anyway, many more documents, well, not many, but quite a few more documents similar to this. And this will be one of the documents that I sent. Hey, look, I told the family court this. I'm telling you this as the Attorney General. Hey, Secretary of State, I'm telling you this, right? I'm revoking your power of attorney. You guys don't get Right. And this is the other thing. I don't even know if this has been entered. So I got to go send this in via certified mail to make sure that they get a copy of it. And boy, I sure hope that guy didn't fuck around, because if he did, he gonna be in trouble, because that's interfering with the mail. It had stamps on it. It had actual stamps on it, right? Stamps that I canceled. Right. Okay. And see when you roll it up. All right. So see on this piece of paper, on this side, it's at the bottom, right? And this sheet of paper is blank. Right? There's nothing here. But on this side, in the fake world, oh look, it's upside down and backwards. So you got right. Oh, right. I'm telling you, you live in the mirror world. Right. When I told you about the tarot cards and so forth, and Justice and Lady Justice with her shroud. Okay, so no, the mantle. What color is the mantle? The mantle is green. He's wearing red. What is that? That's the blood. That's the flesh and blood. That's justice, right? In between the two pillars, seated on a throne, right? Scales down, sword up. You fuck up, I cut your head off. There was a time when these oath-breaking fuckers, when they used to break their oaths, you know what we did? We put them to the sword. Right? That was one of the commandments. One of the worst things you could do is bear false witness against your neighbor. Now they do it all the time, especially here in our courts. We have women helping women. Women helping women lie is what we have here. And they're famous for it, trying to get restraining orders, trying to get other stuff. And they just disparage men and their reputations and tell the most outrageous lies and get away with it. Right? I for sure I had this woman dead to rights because she put just verifiable lies, easy to prove that they're lies. No one would prosecute. So I didn't even put misprision of felony or anything in there, right? But the idea is that, yeah, the system that we have now is 100% fucking, yeah, man. I was going to do it last night, but like I said, my tooth was hurting and I had other stuff going on and so on. But yeah, I was ready for bear, man. What? Yeah, there you go. Excellent. Skate stories. Back in our day, we used to have roller skates, not blades. Side by side, you basically had 4 wheels on your shoes. It was nuts. Anyway, but the point being, before I interrupted myself, is that you got to know what to say and who to say it to, and fewest words possible. Even this was too many words. All right, but the point, you can't stand silent. Once you start knowing this stuff, then you got to start informing Attorney General, Secretary of State, and say, I'm going to need. I'm a man. I need documents to travel. So could you set that up for me, please? And you're going to write nicely, right? Because I didn't say, I demand that you produce a witness. I demand that you, right? I said, please produce an injured party, right? Injured or damaged party. That's one of the things that you need to have a case. Please produce a competent witness. That's another thing you need to have a case. That's why Al Gore lost in 2000. No competent witnesses. Many competent witnesses for this election fraud that we have going on right now. It's amazing. I am amazed that the Democrats and some libertarians and a few people that obviously watch mainstream media can sit there with one of the most blatant. I sat there just going, wow. I mean, this crazy election fraud. And these guys are like, there's no evidence for election fraud. CNN told me that Joe Biden won. And this is why the purge, because all these different people that would have told you about the fraud are now off of YouTube. They're scattered to the 4 winds. They are in the process of changing things out. This is the thing that's amazing to me, because way back, you can find some videos on this channel where I just said, get the fuck off of YouTube. You knew this was coming. No, we want to stay for the last dying dog. No, they got rid of you. Deplatformed completely. See, and even that doesn't bother the Democrats and many others. They got rid of so many different channels, right? Total censorship, censoring the president, cutting off press conferences. So you can't know, well, I'm sure you guys follow, but so that other people can't know what kind of crazy election fraud there's been. And it's been crazy election fraud. They are, if you didn't notice, look in the Dominion. The United States military apparently in Germany went and raided some servers in Germany. Why were votes routed through Germany? How did that happen? Why would we route votes through Germany? And then the data goes back to the United States. What? Okay, that alone, Benford's Law, that alone. The fact that I see on like various YouTube, not YouTube, Facebook pages where they say, "Oh, Biden won Arizona for the first time in 72 years." Has Arizona voted? Have the electors voted? Biden won Georgia. No, there's recounts and audits in Georgia, right? So they're lying directly to these mouth-breathing mask wearers that just literally just lap it all up, and they don't even know they're being lied to. So at this point, this late date, they're still watching CNN. They're still watching MSNBC. Did you see that one? I'll put the link underneath. I got to put that one in there, where the guy is live TV. Apparently, he got some kind of message. He looks down at his phone. He's like, "Oh shit! Oh fuck!" Right? He got some bad news. There's lots of bad news coming for the Democrats. Many. I mean, I think somebody put a shitload of Democrats are going to jail for vote fraud. No, a crap ton. It's not just going to be a shitload. So many people are going to jail over this. It's ridiculous. And as Thomas Whitcore and others have said, shoot, what's the other guy's not fitting? Flynn. Oh, I can't remember all. All the names start to, you read it and you can't remember who said what. But the bottom line is, Trump is no idiot. He knew this was coming. His team knew this was coming, and they had redundancy put in place. That's one of the. If you do Ty Lopez 67 steps, that's one of the things, redundancy, right? So you don't just have one agency. You have multiple things to get things done. So if this one fails, the next one doesn't. That one failed, right? So you have multiple fail safes, but most likely it's going to get done in 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. But I mean, sometimes they have like 5 fail safes, right? So in other words. Because these guys are dirty, and they know they're dirty. Let's say this agency was supposed to handle it, and they don't, and so it goes down. So it gets handled. This one, all right, nope, that one gets all right. Nope, that one gets it done, right? And if that one didn't get done, there were still backups for that. And when I say get it done, as it applies to discovering fraud, reporting fraud, etc. They knew this was coming. And they absolutely knew this was coming, and they planned for it. Simple as that. Holy cow. Yep, absolutely. And they would love to have some more war. Give us some war. When all else fails, they take you to war. Gerald Celente, many others tell you that. Anyway, bottom line is Trump is back in the White House, and things are going to be very interesting going forward. See, they're trying to delegitimize. I can speak English. Delegitimize this guy. It's because of this tooth. It's so strange. There's way too much saliva in my mouth, for one thing. This is ridiculous. I usually get a slightly dry mouth when I'm talking, but because of this wisdom tooth thing going on, I mean, just crazy amounts of saliva coming out of my mouth. And blood, I think, also. Anyway, the idea is that, they have this idea that they can just lie, keep you in the dark, and somehow Trump isn't going to get into the White House. But no, Trump's going to get into the White House. Many people are going to prison. I mean, lots of things are going to happen. And see, here's the other thing for the people with Trump derangement syndrome that are Republicans that think that trust the plan and everything's going to be fine. Trump actually is the reason why I know he's getting back in and not Biden is because when it comes to the deep state, well, maybe not the deep state in the United States, but the globalist world agenda, Trump fits that agenda far better than Biden. He will keep the gun-owning Republican masses 70-something million strong, maybe 80 million strong. And so they delegitimized him by trying to make it seem like he didn't get 80 million votes. Yeah, he did. They threw out millions and millions of votes. This president, Trump, got more votes than any president ever. Not Biden. Biden's had millions and millions of votes that were just fabricated out of thin air and are going to be tossed out. Simple as that. And a lot of the, because the mail-in ballots, you're supposed to keep the envelope so you can verify. And they threw the envelopes out. So if you can't match a ballot and an envelope, gonzo, that ballot will not be counted. Also, I think Tracy Beans did a little video about how the very affidavits from the Democrats themselves prove the fraud in, using their own words against them, prove the fraud in Pennsylvania. Because You weren't allowed to start opening those ballots and counting them beforehand, and they were not offered remedy or cure. So if you screwed up your ballot, too bad. So you could either come in for a provision. And did you see this? They're going to call like 1.25 million people to verify votes. This election is crazy. This is the word. I mean, as a country, well, maybe not as a country because it's not a country, it's a corporation. But as a corporation, should be embarrassed. U.S. persons should be embarrassed because the U.S. corporation can't hold an election. Yet we go around the world pointing our guns at people, telling them how to run their democracies and how we're going to be poll observers and all this other stuff. We can't even do an election here in the United States. It's either here in the United States. There is no the. It's the corporation, right? And when I say United States, just like this, just like when I wrote in my letter, I don't need hyphens. All right, well, they don't need hyphens. I don't need hyphens. That is a corporation. Simple as that. That's not the state of Hawaii. That's just state of Hawaii in all caps, right? Outside their style of process, everything. All right, this is a corporation. That is not that. You think that's some de jure country? I know you've got these ideas that were put in your head in slave school, just like I did, but that is a corporation. That is not a country. That is not a de jure republic. That is a private corporation, administrative setup to do the legal business for United States Republic. And all the people that are in United States corporation, you're basically an enemy of the state of the United States of America. This is not the United States of America. This is United States. No America. That's a subsidiary of United States. Everything underneath that. And see, I revoke my I'm going to write a letter that is going to see in that one. It doesn't name United States. Doesn't need to be. I was in a Maui court. But I'm going to be revoking it all and firing the dead thing. Right? The dead thing for which I speak has gotten me into all kinds of trouble. Okay, and then it's the other thing. Do you notice that big corporations can? Who just got caught rigging the gold market again, and they paid billions of dollars in fine? Nobody went to jail because the agents are not responsible for the dead thing. So when you realize that you're the agent and you're not responsible for the dead thing, that gets to be dangerous information for those of us that are amoral. Let's put it that way. But no, there are certain, I think 21 things that no, they will actually put your ass in prison if you do them, and it all involves harming others, causing others physical harm, murder, rape, etc. But for not wearing your seatbelt, for not paying a parking ticket, no. All right. Anyway. So the idea is that you need to let United States Corporation know, and then you got to let the time go by, like I said, and you got to let this stuff season, wherein you put your paperwork in, you put it in, you wait 30 days, you wait 30 more days, you wait 30 more days. Okay, so it doesn't happen if I start tomorrow, and I'm starting tomorrow. Actually, I'm starting Monday, or maybe it's Tuesday. It's going to be 90 days before I'm out. And I finally got to the point where, okay, here's what I'm going to say to the various people. And here's the way I'm going to go about it. This is how I'm doing it. I'm not saying this is how you should do it. Right? I also got a couple of hold the phone. I'll be right back. My briefcase is right there, and I can even see the folder that I want. Oh. And I'll get this too. All right. See, my original passbook from way, way back in the day. And now I'll just say it here. This certifies that, and it's a savings account, right? Back in the day, this is a passbook savings account. It's not a checking account. And what does it say? It's me and my mommy, because I was like, what's the date on this? 1976, sixth grade. I was 12 years old. Joint tenants with rights of survivorship. We don't own this account. We're tenants on this account. We're authorized to represent this account. But who? It's joint tenants, not joint owners. Tenants. Go look up the words. This is the thing that they keep telling you, is that this thing right here. Oh God. Look up what it says. What does tenant say? Are you an owner or are you a tenant? According to that, right there on the first page, I'm a tenant. And so I was a joint tenant with my mother. All right. Let's see, I didn't get this in there, and I wanted to, but I will. I made a copy of it. And State of Hawaii criminal. I pointed that out before. And see, when I said, how come when you withdrew, how come you didn't call us or write us a letter? Because they didn't want to send me a letter through the mail because that would be fraudulent conveyance of language using the United States postal system. And they know that I know that that's naughty. So they waited for me to show up in the court and made bullshit excuses. And then they wouldn't let me in the courtroom. That was the best thing. They wouldn't even let me down the hall. It was freaking awesome. Anyway. Oh, no, everything's taken care of. We're withdrawing. Like, that's fine. You called me here, right? You told me to appear. I'm appearing. Nope. They wouldn't let me in the courtroom. Oh, anyway. So see there, right? It's the right way. Dear sir, or oh wait. First, this is a request for public inspection or copy of exempt or political organization IRS form. That's 4506A. This is already filled out. This is the receipt. This is a copy of the receipt that has the date that it was sent and all the information and so forth. So that's your electronic signature right there. And over here, the Judiciary Courts of the State of Hawaii. Private corporation. Makes it sound all official, doesn't it? There's their DUNS number. The Judiciary Courts of the State of Hawaii, for any of you from Hawaii that might need it, but you can look up your DUNS number, is 007-121-505. That's their DUNS number. Go look it up. All right. So, and I put all the other information in there. And I just said, hey, is this a tax-exempt, not-for-profit government entity? And the IRS came back and said, why no? No, it's not. We're responding to your request dated February 18, 2020 about the tax-exempt status of Judiciary Court of State of Hawaii. We have no record of this organization having tax-exempt status under our Internal Revenue Code Section 501A, right? Because 501(c), that's how they control the churches. Anyway, therefore, we are unable to provide any documents in response to your request. They naughty, right? $100 is the maximum fine for the first time you do truancy. And they never did charge me with truancy. They never did even allege truancy. They just said he missed school. And you could see they were building a case. And see, every time you go into court, every time you file a document, every time you go in there, they get to write a judgment. They get to modify your bonds. Naughty, naughty. And they wrote $5,000 in bonds, 5,000, 10,000 Series A bonds, $5,000 denominations in the Series EE 10,000 denomination. For a $100 fine? Naughty. Without my knowledge or consent? Naughty. Secret agreements, secret contracts. Okay. And they'll never show you those agreements. And if they do, you're going to have to sign a non-disclosure agreement so that the other slaves don't get wind of it. Anyway, you can find more information about tax-exempt entities and their organizations and operation requirements in Publication 557. I think you should go take a look at Publication 557. Tax-exempt status for your organization. See, and it's not my organization. I was checking on them, but they usually get requests. Hey, do I have my tax-exempt status? A lot of churches do this, etc. You can visit our website at www.irs.gov, charities, blah, blah. If you have questions, you can call. And I called and I had a lovely conversation, and then the COVID hit, and then there was nobody there to answer the phone. Boom. This terrorized the court. Let's put it that way. When I told him about the bonds, like I said, the judge, he was poker faced, right? Because they're playing a game. The clerk hid behind her computer. The bailiff could not control her face. And then, like I said, okay, I'll tell you another story. One time at band camp, I was in Las Vegas and just drinking and partying and having a good time. And I just sat down to play some blackjack before I went up to the room. And there were a bunch of other people playing blackjack. And they're like, yeah, sure, sit down. There's one space open. And we just started, I don't know, we just got on a roll. And we just started taking money out of the casino, right? I mean, I won't get into it, but I mean, we are all of us on that table were on a hot streak. And then one time, just for shits and giggles, I doubled down and I got 2 blackjacks, right? And the dealer literally said, you haven't doubled down all night. And then when you do, you get something's up, right? They change that. Now they start changing the dealers on us. And we're still just like black chip out, black $100 bills flowing across the table to all of us on this table. And while we were winning, nobody wanted to leave. But they just like every 5 minutes, new dealer, new dealer, new deck of cards, And anyway, we sat there and just fucking cleaned that casino. I don't remember how much money I won that night, but I mean, it was a lot. And I was not the time. I mean, there were other guys with way bigger stacks of chips than I had. But they just kept changing the dealer to try to break our stride, and they couldn't do it. Okay. When I went into court the first time, it was the same guys, continuance after continuance after continuance. And then I mentioned that. And then I mentioned the fact that I had the bonds. And then I mentioned a couple and then I asked them if they had tax exempt status. And the next time I went into court, it was a completely different court. The bailiff was different. The clerk was different. The judge was different. And then the next time I went into court, the clerk was different. This last time, I mean, I didn't see the judge because they wouldn't let me in the courtroom. But the bailiff was, I've never seen a male bailiff down there. And this was a big man. He was I'm 6 and he was, I'm going to go 4, maybe 6 inches taller than me and weight to match. I mean, he wasn't fat. I mean, this is a big man in a suit. And anyway, amusing. He's like, see, and this is the thing. You got to learn some responses. When they tell you to do something, ask them if it's in order. Right? You need to back up. We're practicing social distance. Is that in order? You need to show me your ID. Is that in order? Now, I don't recommend you be an asshole and not show your ID, but ask them, is that in order? My first response when and it's worked twice. Well, I don't know if it's worked, but you got ID? Have you got ID? You introduce yourself. Right? You want to contract with me? At least fucking introduce yourself. Give me a business card. They don't. So I'm going to write the givers of tickets and let them. And I have a good friend in the sheriff's office. I'm going to write him a letter. Right? This guy I've known since I'm children. Really? You're not going to fucking tell me, Jim? Really? Jimbo? My friend James that I've known since. Right? Okay, I know he knows this stuff because he's been down there to the point where he's got 3 stripes on his arm. He's seen and right. He's been in there 25, 30 years. Didn't tell me shit. Didn't bother to mention the fact that I'm a man and that I should let some people know that I'm a man. Anyway, but the first response is, do you have an ID? Ooh, that already sets them up. Can I see is that in order? Already they know, okay, now I better start going by the book because this guy might fuck with me, right? And I am confident now. Word has gotten out. Okay. So it's preemptive strike. Again, you're not going to be on the side of the fucking road talking to a guy with a gun and an IQ cap, telling him about how you don't consent, blah, 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 blah. Right? You get a fucking ass pounding. Well, then you deserve that ass pounding because you need to put this paperwork in ahead of time, not afterwards. And that's the thing. Carl, a bunch of them said, if you do have any kind of interaction where they offer you to contract, you need to be in court the next fucking day. 3-day rescission. You need to know about that. You need to put paperwork in the next day. And if it's Friday, then Monday. Right? Great. You love it if it's Friday because that gives you 2 days to go over your shit. But the idea is that, see, I'm not too happy about this because my dentist won't even fucking show up until Tuesday for whatever reason, because they took Monday off. It is. I'm going to stop here because I'm talking to you, but I don't know. Do I sound like I'm slurring my words? It's first thing in the morning, and I've got all this because I have this tooth that's going crazy. And if you want to get into the spiritual aspect of my mental state, what does Louise Hay, what did I do with it, have to say about, I don't know where Louise Hay's little blue, that's of course not, because it should be in that pile right there, but it's not because my son was in here and we were talking about things because he's had some issues also where he has let certain people literally get under his skin, and it's showing. Your physical body is a manifestation of what's going on up here, right? So this has to do with decision making and procrastination and all kind of stuff. And I'm going to have to give an eye tooth if I want out. And that's me. That's my fucked up thinking. Not anyway. But it's literally an eye tooth, right? And that there's some things about eye teeth. All right. The last thing I'm going to talk about is this is Form JS-44. Find out about Form JS-44. Let's see here. This is a complaint, 1309, which I will be filing with appropriate agency, IRS and SEC and so on. This is Form 211. I'm a bounty hunter now. When you guys find out that there are these bonds, I want a piece of it. Claim for damage, injury, or death. I just put that in there. If I've done anything wrong, if there's a claim for damage or injury, here's a form for you. Fill it out, and I'll make it good. Right? But no one was injured by me not putting my son in a public school where he had to fight every day because of the color of his skin. In Hawaii, it's the opposite, right? White boys, right? Because he's not even white. He's got a slightly fairer complexion than me. He's actually his mother, who is also half and half. Like her mother is. We'll use the colors and the words that you guys are used to. The grandmother is white. The grandfather is black. Comes down from the Boone plantation. I come down from the Rogers plantation. Right? These are people that owned us. We lost. The fucking war's lost, and they enslaved us. Get over it. Get over your fucking selves. Right? Okay, we lost the war. They enslaved us. Then they decided we don't want to let any of these motherfuckers go. Let's enslave all of them and tell them they're free, using our same system that we've been using since fucking Babylon, and the Egyptians and the Romans, and going back into ancient times. Same fucking system, right? Bonding free men. But see, you don't tell the fucking free men that they're bonded, right? They used to tell us. They used to know. We used to know. Back in Roman times, we knew. And that you wanted to get out of from being a slave and up at least to a Roman citizenship, which had all kind of privileges and benefits, being a member of the Republic. Just like all kind of privileges and benefits if you're a member of this Republic, United States of America, not the corporation. The corporation is designed to bond you and to keep you a chattel slave and to ward for you. And you have officers that take care of your business. And when you voted in this election, 50 million new voters in this election, you told them that you needed representation. You couldn't represent yourself. You're not your own state. You're not a state citizen. You're not competent to govern your own fucking affairs, and you need representation. And that if you go into a court of law, you can't afford representation. One will be appointed, an attorney will be appointed for you. You think it's a benefit because you're a fucking ignorant slave, just like I was. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you guys are waking up too. Oh, look, here's my Treasury Direct Retail Security Services account. And I'm just going to tell them, you know what, fuck it. I'm not even going to try and redeem his bonds. I'm not even try to find them. We're just going to take everything that's in this account. I know they're there. Look, here it is. You show it in your system. Let's just collapse everything and move it to the judiciary. I have been incompetent in managing my estate this whole time. Right? But now no one is going to administer my estate for me. I speak for my estate. I speak for that dead thing, and I'm going to fire that dead thing. That dead thing, is being the all caps name. What you want to call a straw man. They don't recognize straw man. They recognize in lieges. Don't use their language, right? The dead thing that is the corporation, just use the language of the layman, which is the name. Like this whole thing, what did I do with it? Oh, there it is, buried underneath all this other stuff. There is no legalese. This is all caveman speak, right? Man, right? Right? Just super simple, short sentences. Subject, verb, object. Subject, verb. I mean, done. No big flower. Don't use legalese. Don't try to fucking impress them with your knowledge of the statutes. Don't try any of that. Don't need to talk about the Constitution in here other than the fact that they have an oath to uphold it. I'm not part of that contract, and neither are you. And if you think you are, well, you can think all day fucking long. And if wishes and if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a merrier Christmas, wouldn't we? Right? The idea is that no, what I'm saying is absolutely, I have now proved, and see, that was the other thing. I had to go into courts of law so that I wouldn't be sitting here armchairing it like everybody else. I watch these guys. I see how they operated. Oh, they're clever. I can't wait to get the transcripts because I got these guys to the rights because I asked questions and they thought I was a dumbass at the time. And when they figured out I was smart, everything changed and they wouldn't even fucking let me in the courtroom. Right? And I'm not going to say I'm so smart. It's just the fact that I realize I'm a man. That doesn't make me smart by any stretch of the imagination. But it puts the fear of God into them because they know they can't order a man around. Right? And once you come into your own and you start to read some more, and this is a hugely important book to read right here. I can't tell you enough, right? And again, Everything this guy did in this ridiculously long, I mean, like, it's long, the letter that he wrote, and it's great though because it gives you information. But see, again, what was he doing? He was expatriated, and he was trying to show him how smart he was. I don't need to show him how smart he was. Everything that he did in this book, which is pages and pages, like 25 pages, and he goes over the articles of the Constitution, and he goes over all kind of other stuff in there, and with regard to his status and their status and corporations and fucking the Magna Carta and all fucking manner of stuff. I'm going to do it one page because I ran into this guy named Carl Lentz, right? But read this book. Okay, Chained to the Sky. Read that book. Put one of these or two of these in your car, and then start learning about the etymology of words, and then start learning about the etymology of these books. Who wrote them? Who told you what the words mean? Where the fuck did they get their authority? All right, because there's Bouvier's, there's Black's, there's Webster, right? What did Webster say? Daniel Webster said the worst thing he ever fucking did was fuck our language. He put all the last definitions first, and the first definition is last. Right? When I talk about my sons, there is no, everybody knows what a son is in English. Right? Now, that was what I was going to do. Do I have it here? I think I do have it here. Not that one. Definitely not that one. There they are. Oh, nope, not that one. See, back when I was a dumbass, look how much paperwork that is. Right? No, one page. All right, where are my notes? I put my notes over here specifically because I knew I was going to have Saturn Skewl. Let's talk about Saturn. Actually, let's not talk about Saturn. How about this one? Nope. Oh, what's this? This is about 3-cent stamps. Oh, and see? I mentioned the fact that this is a letter with not a stamp on it, from the Second Circuit Court of the Judiciary of the State of Hawaii. What does that say right there? It says State of Hawaii. They're outside their style of fraudulent conveyance of language using the United States mail. Here's one instance. They wouldn't do another instance. That's why they didn't tell me that I didn't need to show up to court, because they didn't want to send me a letter to tell me not to come, because even doing that is still fraudulent conveyance of language using the United States postal system. Okay, that's that. Am I going to stop the video and start again? Because I had a whole list of words. Let's see if I'll just use them from the top of my head. I literally wrote it down for this video. But because I'm an absent-minded professor, and because my house is a freaking wreck, because you can't see it, but I mean, there's papers everywhere, and books, and law dictionaries, and oh, look, what's this? This is the book, one of the books you need to understand, because, yeah, they're using grammar fair, word fair, and law fair against you, right? Because you think the words mean one thing, and it turns out they mean another. Because you don't even know what the words mean in the first place. And so you just want to keep your language simple. Follow the rules of grammar. Keep it as easy as pie, or as easy and clear and concise as you can. Where the hell did those go? It's only one sheet of my notes. And I did. I had a long list. See, and this was my first draft of that thing, right? Just scribbles. You wanted to put everything down. And then, okay, there. All right, there it is. All right. And I have a whole bunch more, and you've seen them, my notes. But you need to know what the word property means. Your children are property, part of your living estate. Oh, I put that in the letter, right? You're not allowed to manage my estate. You're not allowed to administer my estate absent my consent. You need to know notice, hugely important word. Press a claim. What does that mean? Let's see here. What else? Okay, and there's 3 ways to testify, right? Affidavit, deposition, and under oath in an open court. That's it. And affidavit, that's you putting your words on paper. deposition. That's going to be recorded, and that's them going back and forth asking you questions, and it's verbal. Open court. That's you speaking once again. These are 3 forms of speech. Let's see here. I talked about JS44 already, the cover sheet there. Oh, Dred Scott. Go read Dred Scott. Just go read Dred Scott. Oh, and then rights. Okay. First things first. Rights, and then duties and responsibilities, and then obligations. Okay, but rights trump all. Okay, duties and obligations, like them doing their duty cannot violate your rights. So because he's doing his duty by telling you that you need to put a mask, I'm sorry, no. Right? You cannot violate my rights by doing your duty. And again, you're not going to explain that on the fucking side of the road. That's not going to help. Promise. That probably will hurt. Literally, it probably will hurt. Let's see here. 3 types of bonds. Notice 3 every time. 3 ways. It's 3 types of bonds. There's an official bond, a fidelity bond, and a surety bond. They try to use your person as surety bond. You don't want to use your person, your living, alive flesh, as surety for any of these bonds. The wealthy don't. The wealthy get away with practically murder. Right? Because what? They pay their dividend, and that's it. Right? They get LIBOR rigging, Goldman Sachs, all the big guys, right? Stone cold busted, breaking the law. Nobody goes to jail. Why? Because they pay a fine, and that's it. That's a dividend. The agents are not responsible for the corporation. Get it through your heads, and the corporations are evil. Straight up. They'll pollute and tell you to clean, and then use taxpayer money to clean that up, right? And you might want to let the IRS know you're not a taxpayer. That's a word they made up. Anyway, various corporations, yeah, they do all kind of crazy shit, and nobody goes to jail because the agents for the corporate, right? And the agents change. The corporation stays the same, but the agents change. Right? Best Foods is the guys that were making money off of Best Foods when my mom was a little girl. Is those guys are all dead and gone, but Best Foods is still there. Name them. Name the corporations you know. GM, Ford, any of those companies. Shell Oil, right? Amoco, Chevron, all these different companies that they spill oil all over the place, destroy habitats. Nobody goes to jail. Well, why not? Because they pay their dividend. Because the agents are not responsible for the corporation. Somehow they got you to think that you're responsible for your corporation, though. Because your corporation, your name, they did joinder, and you think that you and your name are the same, and you're not. You're doing business as that. You speak for that, but that's a dead thing. You're the living thing. You need to separate the two, and let them know that you are the live thing, and that they are they're talking about and summoning, and so the dead thing, the all caps thing, right? Your name. That's not who you are. Okay. So anyway, property, huge. That one word. Notice, this is not the right page. I just noticed because there was a list. But there's a bunch of words you need to know. And you need to know the small words of, at, with, to, from, all the little prepositions. You need to know those are huge. Because it makes a big difference, right? Mother-at-law, mother-in-law. No, it's a mother-in-law. Attorney-at-law, attorney-in-law. No, attorney-at-law. Crap. I had more examples, but just all those words have meaning. And they mean, right? And you think, oh, they've got you tricked into thinking that there's a lot of synonyms going on here. No, they're not. Right? Person, man, not the same. Property, children, obviously not the same. And that's why you want to go back and read Dred Scott. I'm going to give it up, though, because my tooth is starting to bother me, and I think I'm going to have a nice cup of hot tea. It's early. Long story short, I'm all happy because I ain't going back to court, and I can tell they're not probably going to let me in a courtroom on this island ever again. Which is fine with me. Or maybe they are. Maybe they'll drag me in there because I know this one lady that I ran into in the elevator going down from the court yesterday. And like I said, she's fighting guys that have the ability to fuck with her, and they are fucking with her. They're already starting to hassle her. And we have this thing in Hawaii called Huki Huki, where they will literally try to drive you out of the state. One guy did this. He showed people how to get rid of their mortgages. We'll just put it that way, because the mortgage is another bullshit game that you should probably find out about. And I haven't even talked about that here hardly at all. But I have, in fact, gotten to the point where various credit card companies have written me apologies because I stone cold busted them. You didn't fucking loan me anything, motherfuckers, right? You didn't take money from one account, put it in my account. You just created out of thin air on my signature, right? What did you do? Oh, you tapped my bonds because we have unlimited credit that we don't know how to access. They know how to access it, and they'll access it for you for a fee, interest, and usually some kind of annual fee or one-time fee. Right? And they'll do a little bit where it's revolving credit and a credit card, or they'll do a huge thing like $100,000 for a house, or 200 or 500 or 700, jumbo, whatever. They'll do right, huge amounts, and then you will be a tenant. Because you'll be a tenant with joint rights of survivorship, tenants in common. I used to have the list. Like I said, I used to have the license, and I used to teach this shit, but I don't remember all of it anymore. I'd have to go look it up because I don't use it every day. But the bottom line is, this guy showed people how to get rid of their mortgages, and they fucking drove him out of the state with physical pain on top of everything else. But it gets to the point where you can't turn you forget to turn your blinker on. There's going to be a cop behind you. Right? It's hooky. They will fuck with you. Okay, this lady's getting fucked with. So I said, from now on, here's a couple things to say. Right? And here's some other information. And here's some stuff that you need to let them know. You're a woman, so they can't order you around. You're not a ward of the state. And see, she had been representing herself in court, and she did. She took on one of the more powerfully connected, and he's also connected family-wise here, prosecutors. And yeah, they're gonna start fucking with her. I guarantee it. She's already seen it. So just because, like I said, I'm dealing with a small fishing family, they could give a fuck, right? But when you start messing with some of these other guys that are prominent, and that guy had run for mayor and this and that, and you've been in the county council and so on, you start playing in that arena, and you better be connected too. I am not connected, as it were, at all, but except for the vast network. Let's put it this way. And there are, I'll actually just leave it at that. But the bottom line is, I'm not connected when it comes down to it. I'm not connected in that political arena at all. And if you want to go in there and start fucking around in that political arena, wherever you are, it's the same thing. It's an old boy network, whether you're on Maui. Louisiana has the worst one I've ever seen. New Jersey is another famous one. Chicago is another famous one, where they have a machine that has been in power for quite some time, and you don't fuck with the machine. Okay, and they use the courts to dominate you, basically, and extract wealth from you from cradle to grave. And they don't want you coming out. They don't want you being able to stand up against them. They don't want you knowing that you're a man and that they can't order you around. Just ask them, is that an order? Straight up, and they'll tell you. And they've been told they can't order you around. And if it is an order, fine. I'm happy to fulfill your order for a fee. You want to order me to appear? I'm happy to appear. You got to pay me. You want to order me to do this and that? Yeah, you're going to try and order me around, tell me when I can visit my children? Are you fucking kidding me? And people will follow the orders because they don't understand that they're men and women. Get it? Okay. Okay, I'll go look over here for a second, and then I'm done. It's an hour. I'm an hour in. It's look, I've got the whole day in front of me. It's not even 8 o'clock in the morning here. And it's a lovely day. We're having lovely weather, and it's October, and it's the nice, cool weather. Oh, I tell you, I'm spoiled. I live up in a place called Makua on this mountain at about, I don't know, what are we, 1,500 feet or something? Maybe it's 2,000 feet. But it's cooler up here by a long shot. Yesterday, I went down to Kahului Wailuku, and it was just like, oh my God, it's hot down here. Because it's Hawaii in the wintertime. And not only that, it's moist. Like, we got humidity. Like, this is the thing that people notice when they get off the plane. It's like stepping into, it's moist. It's your lips don't chap. Your hair, I mean, my hair and lips do crazy things when I'm on the mainland in your dry, zero humidity. I mean, anyway. But I went down country yesterday to go to court, and holy crap, I thought I was going to die. And I was just in an aloha shirt and slacks, right? If I wore that in a lot of places on the mainland, I would have been freezing to death right now. Okay. Holy cow, look at all this stuff. Yep, that's it. When does it start? I don't know. Whenever you want. Do your part. Do your little part. Like me, going after these guys in the system of enslavement called the court system. Um, just make it so they don't mess with you anymore, right? So one, right? If everybody would do that, anyway. Yep, that's exactly what's going. I've said this before. Okay, the Democrats and the Republicans, but mostly Democrats, are literally offering up sacrifices. When the sacrifices they're giving, they don't seem like sacrifices. Are these guys that will uh, change ballots for money, and then they don't realize that they're going to go away for 20 years, break windows and glass and march around and so forth, and they don't realize they're going to go away for 20 years. They're going to fill the prisons with uh, angry, virtuous Democrats, and everybody's going to make money, and you're going to pay for it all because who's going to house them? They don't pay, right? They're not going to be the guys doing the prisons, right? Guarding the prisons. They're not going to be the guys making the prison food. They're not going to be any of that. They're not. They don't pay for the prisons. They make money off of the prisons. We pay for the prisons, right? Through various taxes and fees and so on, licenses. Yeah, there you go. American Idol could pull this off, but the United States government not so good. Uh, yep. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Yes, they are snakes, and yes, Donald Trump and your agenda is agenda the right word? Your wants, needs, and desires might line up a little bit. Your aspirations and so forth might line up, but the big boys are going to be doing well, and the little fish are not going to be doing so well. The big fish, what do they want you to do? They want you to have a job. They want you to be just over broke. What do they want you to do? They want you to sign up to vote and become part of the corporation, so that you need warding, and so that they can extract wealth from you from cradle to grave. Um, I don't know what part of this you're not understanding, but Donnie ain't your friend. Um, and good if his goals and so forth line up with yours a little bit, good. But overall, no. They want you enslaved. He's not pulling your. He's not going to make it easier for you to travel. He's not going to make it so you don't have to take your shoes off at the airport. He's not any of that. He is going to make it so that you can get gas for cheap. He is going to make it so that you can get your pharmaceuticals for cheaper than what it would have been. He is going to make it so that you don't pick your guns up and go down to Washington, D.C. or your state capital or your court system and start blazing at these lawyers. That's not going to happen. Right? He is the pacifier. What? I don't know. Okay. Uh, Not all your comments are making sense to me. Okay, so I'm done here. It's about an hour, a little over an hour. Go ye forth, educate self. Go ye forth, find out what the words mean. I can't call that a win because they withdrew. Right? I didn't go into court and get to use that letter. I didn't go into court, right? So I can't tell you how effective it would be, but I can tell you that I'm going to pull the transcripts, and I got these guys dead to rights on many violations. And I see now, like I said, I went into court my own self. I'm not sitting here from the this armchair YouTube point of view. I mean, I actually went into court and see the kind of bullshit that they pull. And basically what they're doing, see, the other half of this equation, which was the mother of the child, completely clueless. Thinks she's a black woman. Thinks she's a black person. Oh, God. Anyway, all right, and I can't find my other notes to go over them to see if there was anything else I wanted to put here because it's in a little folder and I moved the folder someplace. I'm sure it's in the other room, but because I was going over this stuff to when I was writing my letters, because it is paperwork from one end of this house to the, well, there's a pile of clothes right there because it's going to go to laundry. That's the next thing I'm going to do is put all that stuff in a laundry basket and go do some laundry today because it's a lovely day. But from over there to over there, and then, like I said, there's a file, and then there's a briefcase with all kind of papers in it, and then there's more papers over there. So I mean, like, it's just right, because all the different papers. And see, this is the other reason you got better things to do, right? So stay the fuck out of court. Do your stuff in advance, and then you're not going to have to worry about all this paperwork and knowing all this kind of, right? Just learn your stuff, and then your life is easier, not harder. Right now, I was in full get ready for court mode, like I said, and then they just withdrew. And I knew that, actually, both my son and I, when we were driving down there, the feeling that we just knew they were going to withdraw. We just knew that it was basically, this was done. They'd fucked with us for 13 months, and they'd had enough, because they could see that it was not going to be easy. Right? They're going to steamroll over me. In fact, I was going to probably steamroll over them. So rather than getting steamrolled, they withdrew. Right? Just doesn't fight. It's like the bull comes charging, and the matador just steps out of the way. Right? And the bull goes charging past. So rather than getting gored, smart on their part. Okay. The thing that they've done, though, is that they don't realize that I'm not just going to, right? Because now the case is basically, I don't know how it's closed. And I'm going to call and find out that they just withdrew, right? That they, so the idea is, and they do this a lot of times, they adjourn, and then that's it. They just never come back to court. Their statute of limitations runs out, or so, and so on. So they just, they know when to fight, when they've got you, and they know when not to. You got to get to the point where you read your Bible well enough that you understand some of the things that Christ told you, because what the Christ was telling you is how to deal with these fuckers. Right? You just go with them. You just always admit, right? I gave you the 5 ways to respond to resentment. You're never belligerent. You never say no. You always agree. Always agree with your adversary. It says it right there in numerous passages. So you disagree, and then conditionally respond. Right? I agree with. Right? You want me to come back to court? I'm not going to say no. I'm not coming back to court. I'm saying I'm coming back, but you're going to pay me. They don't want to pay you. Okay. 100th monkey out. Educate yourself and educate others, and just understand that you should be happy. You should be dancing. Does Trump look worried? Do any of these? They're practically giddy. They've got these guys so dead to rights. Just because the media, and it blows my mind. Scroll on your Democrat friends pages. Scroll on libertarian pages. Scroll on people that watch mainstream media, and they seem blissfully unaware that there was any kind of vote fraud at all. Vote fraud? What vote fraud? Is this the same party that stole the election from Bernie 2 times? No, they wouldn't do that to Trump. There's no, I mean, they have no idea about Dominion. They have no idea about Hammer and Scorecard. They have no idea about mail-in ballots, and they nothing, because why? The mainstream media isn't telling them. And you can now tell those mask-wearing idiots how they get their news, how they get their information, and that they do not. They might say one thing or another. They're having I don't even own a TV. That's my favorite one. They don't own a TV, but they parrot talking points. It's mind-boggling. Like mind-boggling. I can't get over how low info ignorant these people are, and that's the way they want you. They want you low. And this is so right. Most Trumpers can't handle any of this. Rescind my voter registration. That's crazy talk. This is the most important election in the history of ever. I can't rescind my. Right? All right, fine. Then stay with the whore of Babylon, because that is the whore. Right? You are sucking on the tit of the whore of Babylon, and she can be pretty. Make no mistake. But I'd rather be free. Okay, I will talk to you guys maybe tomorrow, most likely not for a week. And it actually might be a little while. I got to do some ridiculous housework around here. I got like 2 days cleaning up to do at least. Fortunately, it's a small house. It shouldn't be too much of a problem, but holy crap, it's a mess. And then more reading. Tuesday is reading day. Also got to get a tooth extracted, so that's going to slow things down a little bit. And then I'll do some more stuff on words. You got to know what the words mean. And etymology, it's hugely important. And I'll, of course, put links. And I will talk to you guys again soon. 100th monkey out. Hope you guys are having a great time. Enjoy if I don't talk to you, enjoy your Thanksgiving. And we'll get together again here eventually. All right. Yeah, me too.